Hey guys, welcome back to SynAckTime. My name is Ben, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Linkwarden. So I don't know if you've ever worked at an organization where you kind of all use like very similar bookmarks, and when someone new starts, you gotta generate those URLs, send them over there, like send them links to websites, maybe like a list in a text file or maybe an export. But I think this is a great program because it allows you to kind of centralize all the different bookmarks that you use, even if it's just for like using it at your house, like with your family. So when you first sign in, this is the dashboard that you'll arrive to, and you can create different folders for your bookmarks. So in my instance here, I have open source, I have security. I can move my bookmarks between those two different categories. And another great thing is I can also share out these categories to other users in my platform. I'll show you how to create users in just a second. First, I want to show you how easy it is just to add a bookmark. You know, I didn't put any of this information in here. I just gave it the URL and it just went to town. So let's see, I got an open source project. So say we wanted to add a bookmark to this category. Let's click on the little purple plus symbol. We'll hit new link. We'll just paste in the URL. We're going to use DocMost. I'm going to put it in an open source. I can put some tags in there if I want to. I can put a name or description, but I'm just going to let it do its own thing and pull all that information for me. So when I hit create link, it's went out. It's got the title of the website for me. It's now generating like a screenshot for me as well, which is really cool. So yeah, there it is. And I can pop right into the site or I can edit it. And let's see here. Basically the same settings. I can add some tags and some additional description if I want to. After that, we have preserve formats. I can do like a screenshot. I can upload a couple things into it, make it readable. I can view the latest snapshot on archive. Pretty neat stuff. And she'll show link details. No description provided because I didn't type anyone in, but that's okay. Don't really need to. After that, if I decided, you know, I think I want to move this to a different category, you can simply just go in here and edit the link and change the category from here. Very easy to do. All right, you can also view your bookmarks differently. So you can come in and view them as just squares. So if you have a whole bunch of them, they'll just appear like in this like row, all evenly spaced. Or we can do like the cooler way where it'll kind of add a little bit more detail to it, organize it the best way that it can according to like the screenshots. And then I can just do a simple list view. So just list all the different bookmarks I have under this category. After that, let me show you how you'll add users. So if you go up to the little person icon at the top right, you can go to server administration. Now, don't expect anything too glamorous here. It's basically just the user list and gives you the option of creating additional users. I've created Bob. I also have SynAckTime here too. I can go to add new user. Let's give it a name. Let's just call it Joe Bob. And the username is going to be Joe. Password's going to be password 123 exclamation point. Boom. So in a little second here, our system goes spinny and create us a new user. So one other thing I want to show you with categories before we hop into Joe's account. Let's say that we did want to create some subcategories here. If you just go under the category on the left-hand side, we can click on these little 3 periods and we can create sub collections. And that will be like, let's say we want all of them to do with Kali. We can change the color of the folder a little bit. We can even give it a description. Everything Kali related. Create that description. So now we have subfolder, and this is really easy to do. It's really easy to sort all of your links. Now, what if we wanted to share this open source folder with Joe? Well, what we could do is we click on those same 3 periods. We click share and collaborate. Now we can do a couple of things. I can make this public so pretty much anybody with a link can see it, or I can share it with specific people. So let's say I wanted to share it with Joe. I'm just going to type Joe's username And now the system has detected him. He sees him right there and saying, okay, what kind of permissions do you want? I can make Joe full admin. He can do whatever he wants to, or he's just gonna be like a contributor. He can add URLs and everything, but he's not going to be able to do a whole lot of, other than viewing and creating. Let's give him full access and let's hit save changes. Cool. We're updated. Let's hop into Joe's account. If I sign out, it's going to take me to my sign in page here. I'm going to type in Joe and I'm going to type in password 0123 exclamation point. And now when I've signed in, instead of a blank, nothing to start from, I'm being presented this extra little bit of information here. This is the open source collection. One thing that I don't know if they're planning on changing this or adding this, and you notice I'm kind of missing all my subfolders. So it doesn't appear that it's recursive unless I'm missing something. And if I am, hey man, leave it down in the comment section below and I will make a mental note of it. So yeah, where we are a full admin, so we can view the team who has access to this collection. If I said, maybe I don't want to see this anymore, I can leave it and I will no longer have access to that. And if I jump back to my dashboard, it's now blank. So maybe I want to add my own link. So let's go to add new link and we'll do https SynAckTime.com. Create that link. I'll show you something that you can do with links that you visit very frequently. Is you can come in here and you can pin it to the dashboard, which basically means it's going to put it down here at the bottom. You'll be able to see it whenever you sign in, and it'll be kind of right in your face and you won't have to go searching for it. By the way, you do have a cool little search option up here at the top that you can easily search through all of your bookmarks, find them pretty quickly. You can import if you want. You can go to settings, you can go to import links and you can generate HTML files, you can do JSON files, or you can import from other Linkwarden instances. So you can quickly and easily get all of your URLs into this platform without doing this one by one. So one of the really cool things is it does have its own extension as well. I think somebody has basically written this for Linkwarden, but very, very cool stuff. Let's head off to defcon.org and say we wanted to add this to our Linkwarden, but we didn't want to go to that new page and type out anything. We just wanted to quickly add it while we were on the site. So if you click on the icon for Linkwarden's extension, we can drop this down here. I'm going to hit security and I'm going to hit save. And what this little extension is going to do for us is it's going to drop this into our Linkwarden instance. So if we drop on back here, we can see it's already adding it and it's generating the cool little thumbnail for my instance. So next up, I want to show you how to host this yourself. We're going to need a couple of things where you're going to need a machine running Docker. We're going to need Portainer, and we're going to need Nginx Proxy Manager. Now, Nginx Proxy Manager is only going to be used if this thing's going to be internet facing. So if you're going to have it out there for other people to use, or if it's something you just want a pretty cool little URL set up for, then we're going to use Nginx. If you don't want to host it, I'm going to show you that option too. We're just going to basically be uncommenting out a part of the config file so you can access it on your local network. First thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to find the GitHub page. So let us type in Linkwarden into our search. And one of the first things we'll see is the Linkwarden GitHub page. And if we scroll down, let's keep on going all the way to the documentation, and we'll hit documentation here. And let's see, we got some register for an account, yada, yada, self-hosting. There we go. Installation. So this installation path is a little bit more complicated than maybe we want. This is kind of like a manual. Okay, so here we go. Wants us to copy some environmental variables, clone some GitHubs, but I have an easier path for you. I have added this particular Docker Compose file to our GitHub page. that is going to be a little bit more straightforward, save you a little bit of time. Nothing wrong with that. If we go to github.com/SynAckTime, boom. And let's hop over to our SynAckTime YouTube. It's all open to the public. I go into YouTube and I'm going to go under Linkwarden. So I have two things here. I have my Docker Compose YAML and I have my environment file. So my environment file has a couple of little like secrets and stuff like that in here, some passwords that you need to change. None of that stuff's actually in production, so not a big deal if you see that. All right, so let's go to our Docker Compose, and this is what we're going to need to add into our Portainer stack. So I'm going to copy this, and let's head over to our Portainer. And once we're under there, let's go under stacks. Let's create a new stack. We're going to be calling this, let's call it Linkwarden. Not too bad, right? And then we're going to paste in right here in our big long configuration file that we have just copied. So if you scroll up to the very top, I'll kind of break things down for you. The container name is synhow -Linkwarden, but you can change that to be whatever you want. This is just for basically aesthetics really, and it doesn't really matter what it's called. Just make sure that if you do change it, that you change it throughout the entire document, that there's nothing that's going to be mismatched. So if we keep scrolling down, we have a couple of things. We have our next auth secret, and that was one of those environment variables that was in that .env file, and that's something that we'll have to import as well. We have our ports. This is where I was telling you that if you're going to self-host it and it's going to be local only, leave this like as it is. But if you're going to be running it through Nginx like me, I don't want this 3000 port to be faced out on the internet and unencrypted. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add just a little simple hashtag in front of that and in front of the ports. All right, so if we keep scrolling down, all this other stuff is pretty standard. It's going to be pulling the password file for that from that .env file. That's how you can tell it's a little bit of a $sign and a little curly brackets here. That just means that it's going to be pulling it from an environment file. After that, we have our network it's going to set up. That's good. Keep everything separated. All right, let's go grab that .env file. So we go back, go into our env file. It's a very short file. Let's just copy this, go back over to our Portainer, and let's scroll down to where you see add environment variables. So if we click on an environment variable here, and let's do this. Instead of going through and adding those manually, I'm going to click on the little trash can over here, and I'm going to go to this advanced mode. And if I scroll down a little bit, I can just paste that file straight in here. So once we've pasted this in here, we do want to change these values a little bit. So it doesn't really matter what you make them. We just want this to be a secret key, and we also want this to be a password that's not so easy to guess. Not that anybody's going to really have access to this, but it's still good to be secure. So for this, I'm going to change my Postgres password. I'm going to call it super secret password 123 question mark 3 for a little there. For my key, honestly, I'm just going to change a couple of characters. You can go through and regenerate this if you want to. Totally up to you. I'm just going to put this. It really doesn't matter what you make it. All right, I'm going to scroll back up a little bit. And one thing that we will need to change before we commit to this is we're going to need to change this next auth URL right here. So we're going to want to make this the URL for our web page, which is going to be internet facing, and it's not going to be localhost. What I'm going to probably make it is links.synhow.com. Going to be HTTPS, so I'll make sure I get that right too. All right, that's good. And you can see we're pulling our next auth secret right there. That's already being generated below. Not a problem. Our Postgres password is already there. Excellent. So I think we're ready to go. Let's scroll down and let's click on deploy stack. If everything went well, you should see a nice little green box at the top saying party bonus. Did great. Let's hop over to containers and let's check it out. They got our Linkwarden, got good green lights, good to go there. Let's do this. Let's create our subdomain so that when we go over to Nginx Proxy Manager, we are going to be able to generate that SSL, get all that information. Let's go over to Namecheap, and I'm under my SynHow domain. I need to create myself an A record. I'm going to hit add. And for this, I'm going to select A record. For the host, I'm going to make it links. And then for the IP address, I'm simply going to copy the IP address of my server from another entry. And now I'm just going to hit save all changes. One thing I almost forgot, we have to jump back to Portainer just for a second to join our Nginx Proxy Manager to the same network that our Linkwarden's on. So we hop under Nginx Proxy Manager here. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. All right, and we're going to find our network in here. I'm going to look for that. And there we go. We got our Linkwarden network right there. And let's join network. Let's go over to Nginx Proxy Manager. And let's go to add host. All right, for our domain, we're going to do the links.synhow.com. For my forwarding host name, I'm going to paste in the Linkwarden container name that I copied. And do you remember what that port was? If you don't, it's okay. Let me show you how to quickly find that. We go back under Portainer and stacks. For our domain, we're going to do the links.synhow.com. For my forwarding host name, I'm going to paste in the Linkwarden container name that I copied. And do you remember what that port was? If you don't, it's okay. Let me show you how to quickly find that. We go back under Portainer and stacks. Then let's go under Linkwarden and under, you see where it said editor at the top of the page here? Yeah, we can click on that guy and that'll bring up our little text file that we pasted in there. So we can see it was port 3000. So we got that port. Let's hop back over and let's put that port right here. Because that's going to be the port it's expecting to hear traffic from. I'm going to check my usual block common and do my WebSocket support. I'm going to save changes. Excellent, excellent. Well, we now have our official link set up from Nginx Proxy Manager, but it is not encrypted. I don't want to be sending over any sort of information that's not encrypted. So let's add ourselves an SSL cert to this website. So let's click on these little periods over here. I want to go back to edit and I'm going to go to SSL and I'm going to request a new one. I'm going to force, I'm going to agree, I'm going to save. So in a second here, once everything has pinged and reached out and done its sort of communication, we're going to have ourselves a nice little certificate. Cool. All right, so I think we're good. We have Let's Encrypt, it's all set up, and we have our cool little web page here. Let's click on this guy and let's see if the demo gods were kind. So I had to do a little bit of movie magic just now because when I clicked on this link, the first time I got a 501, which usually means like I'm not joined to the right network. But in this case, it was because I used a special character in my special password, right? So I had to remove that question mark at the end of my super secret password because it did not like me using special characters within that field. So just something to keep in mind when you are creating that password for Postgres to use. Kind of want to avoid, I guess, too many special characters in that file. So assuming you didn't do that mistake, you should be presented with this nice little login page, and it's basically just saying you need to sign up. So we're going to click sign up here. I'm going to put that I am SynHow and snack. I'm going to use a super strong password, and it doesn't matter if you use special characters here. And once we do that, we should be able to sign in. All right, so now we are all signed in. We can check out what's new, or we can just pretty much start, right away, start adding collections. So, let's do that. Let's add a collection here. We're just going to call this Business Bookmarks. And again, you can change color, and there we go. All right. Well, I hope this video was informative. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and I hope that you find some use in this software. I think it's a pretty amazing project. It's very clean and very user-friendly. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And if you found this video helpful, please consider, subscribing or maybe just giving me a like. I appreciate it. Take it easy.